inside, though, you get to see our Disney animators working on actual Disney products. Now, they currently are working on our 31st full-length animated feature called Aladdin, which will have the vocal talents of Robin Williams as the Big Blue Genie. They also helped finish up Beauty and the Beast, which is playing in theaters right now. Now, notice a lot of you have cameras and video recorders. Well, go ahead and take them out. Take the lens caps off. Feel free to do all the videotaping and photography that you wish. Your driver, Bob, and myself are extremely photogenic, and we'll be posing a little bit later on. Right now, though, you want to put your cameras off to the right, high in the sky. Get a shot of the symbol of the Disney MGM Studios, the award-winning Earful Tower. This masterpiece is 13 stories tall, capped off with a set of masters weighing 16 tons, with a hat size of 342 3/8. Trust me on that one, folks.
No, I got it.
Over to you, right a little closer to the ground, is our motor pool. You might recognize a few of the cars out there, like the two futuristic police cars from the Ridley Scott film Blade Runner. The Red Coyote from the television series Hardcastle and McCormick. That black classic car with the green spoked wheels, that's from the Untouchables with Sean Connery and Kevin Costner. And these colorful classic cars over here are all from Dick Tracy. Now, right across the street, we have our production bungalows. This is where we give office space to our crews while they work here. In bungalow number 1, we have Betty Productions. In bungalow number 2, Warner Brothers. They're working on a full-length feature here at our studios. And in bungalow number 3, we have Ivan Ford's production. Right now, though, Bob's steering us into our greens department. Now, this is where we store plants, trees, and shrubs until we need them for production. The greenery is often used to hide what we don't want you to see in our movies, like camera equipment, lighting equipment. We can even use it to hide the fact that we didn't build an entire set. Now, notice that everything is grown in portable boxes and pots. That's so we can transfer it back and forth to our sets without any hassles. Now, say a director is in need of a 30-foot high flower stem. No problem, we got one of those. This unique prop was used in the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. We didn't grow it, though. It's made out of foam and chicken wire. The skeleton figures you see there are called topiaries. Now, a topiary can take up to 10 years to fully develop. There are over 160 topiaries located throughout Walt Disney World property. Right now, we're going to take you indoors, folks, to take a look at one of our more glamorous departments, the world of creative costuming. You'll see some of the more than 180 talented artists who design and create costumes for our entertainment needs. They use over 175,000 yards of fabric in a single year to create more than 12,000 costumes, like the ones you'll see in the display cases, worn by Julia Roberts and Pretty Woman, Warren Beatty and Madonna and Dick Tracy, Julie Andrews from Mary Poppins, Michael Jackson from Captain EO, and the co-stars of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. We're slowing down so you folks in the back can take a good look around this area also. Feel free to do all the photography and videotaping that you like. Here at Walt Disney World, we're the proud owners of the world's largest working wardrobe with over 2.5 million garments in our collection. But it takes more than an actor in a costume to get a production off the ground. You need technical support as well. Coming up next, we're going to look at some of these areas, starting with our lighting department, which has the equipment to provide over 3.5 million watts of light for any of our productions. Next door to that, the Dick Tracy Makeup Workshop, showcasing 45 masks and maquettes and some of the appliances used by Caglione and Drexler to win an Academy Award at Dick Tracy. The next 2 rooms make up the camera department, where we store and maintain our camera and video equipment. Finally, here at the end of the tunnel is our scenic shop, where carpenters begin construction of sets that are later finished on a soundstage. Now, these talented artisans have created everything from a 40-foot-long wooden submarine to the set of the Mickey Mouse Club. They even turned their own shop into a set for a movie as we enter the tunnel. Straight ahead of us here, you're going to see a guard shack. It's the Sterling Research Division. Now, that was used by Rick Moranis and his film crew as they were filming the sequel to the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, called Honey, I Blew Up the Baby. Not explode blow up, but inflate blow up. Yeah, it turns out Rick Moranis' baby is over 100 feet high and terrorizing Las Vegas, Nevada. Movie code. There's some lovely houses here, but I wouldn't pack your bags to move into any of these houses if I were you. Just take a look at this first one on the right. You'll see why real estate developers love this neighborhood. There's always an open house. All these houses are empty shells or facades used for exterior shots only. But it's okay if these houses get drafty, because here on the Backlot, we can even control the weather. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on in the tour. Over on your left, you're going to see an Art Deco style house, and in the garage, a 1963 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. That was used in the movie Tin Men, which starred Danny DeVito and Richard Dreyfuss. Now, we have 7 different architectural designs of homes on Residential Street. Each one represents architecture from a different part of the country. And all of these homes have been used in various types of productions. You might recognize some of them, but I think the one everybody will recognize is the one on the left, the beige one with the ferns out front. That's the television home to B. Arthur, Rue McClanahan, Estelle Getty, and Betty White, the Emmy award-winning Golden Girls. Now, the next-door neighbors of the Golden Girls, Richard Mulligan and Christy McNichol, will show Empty Nest. Their house is under construction over on your right. Now, by looking at the house in its construction phase, you see how much, or actually how little, we get away with using here on the back lot. So we only use a framework for the exteriors. The interiors are filmed on a soundstage. Combined, that gives you the show you see on TV. Now, coming up ahead is the neighborhood dog. Every neighborhood has a dog. This dog's a little unusual, though. He's 30 feet high, and he smokes a pipe. It's the Bulldog Cafe from the movie The Rocketeer, where the Flyers meet to eat in that film. Now, just up ahead of us is the urban counterpart of Residential Street, our own little slice of the Big Apple, New York Street. We'll be back to New York Street in just a few minutes. I have some other things to show you first. Right now, though, I do want to wave hello to everybody in the back cars. Hi there, folks. How are you? Good to see you all again. You know, you guys are doing an excellent job of following along. Not that you really have a choice. Right now, we're going to take you a little deeper into the back lot, a place we call the Boneyard. It's like a giant open-air attic where we store large-scale props. See, in the movie business, you never throw anything away because you might need it again later on. Those of you at the Disney Channel will recognize Dumbo's circus wagon. The black speedboat is from the 100 Lives of Blackjack Savage, modeled after the SR-71 Blackbird spy plane. It's been clocked at speeds of over 70 miles an hour. The blue helicopter cockpit is from the 1983 production Blue Thunder with Roy Scheider. Those military vehicles are waiting to be called into service for a production. Like I said, in the movie business, you don't throw anything away. We keep the exteriors out here of the vehicles. We take the motors out of them and put it in our shops. And then when we need one of the vehicles, we bring it to the shop, put the motor back in it, and give it a new coat of paint. We got ourselves a practically new vehicle. These 3 classic blue cars here are from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I'm sure you can figure out which one Roger got his hands on. And then there's a Pacific Electric trolley car, also from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's not really a trolley car, though. It's actually a converted bus. Coming up next are 2 silver space pods from the film Flight of the Navigator. After that, the colorful gears from the final fight scene in Dick Tracy. And then Mother Goose's house from Rock and Rhyme with Shelley Duvall. Now take a look across the canal and you'll get a backstage view of the homes on Residential Street. You'll see that there's not a lot of privacy in this neighborhood. Also notice that the architectural details, like the shingles on the roof, disappear outside of the camera's range. It's because we don't build what the camera doesn't need to see. But what if your camera needs to see something that's just not there? Like an active oil field in the middle of a dry, rocky, barren desert canyon. In Central Florida, the only place you can find a set like that is right here on our studio backlot. We call it Catastrophe Canyon. And right now we're going to go inside and take a look. Now folks, I just want to remind everybody to remain fully seated at all times, and please keep a tight hold on your personal belongings. Don't drop anything over the side because I can't guarantee its condition once we return it to you. Now take a look at that tanker truck here in the middle of the set. A great example of a large-scale prop. It doesn't look all that good, but it runs great. We had a hard time getting that truck in here, though. We had to use a crane to lift it over the side of the canyon and place it down on top of the set. I just hope they locked the parking brake down when they put it in here. Anyway, remember when I told you earlier in the tour that here on the back lot we can even control the weather? Thank you. What if your script calls for a torrential downpour? Well, in the movie business, time is money. You can't sit around and wait for Mother Nature. So when your cameras are ready to roll, your rain had better be ready to fall. This effect is done with water spouts up at the top of the canyon. They shoot the water up and out in a crisscross pattern to give it a natural falling effect. When the director yells, action, he has rain. Notice that it's not raining on the entire set, only as far as that tanker truck, but that's okay. Your camera won't be able to tell the difference. I warned you folks on the left, you might be getting wet. Yeah, sorry about that. Scene 1, hey, that's the earthquake scene. Whoa! Hey guys, well hang on everybody, we'll get out of here in just a minute. What did you think of Catastrophe Canyon? Yeah, you like that? Good. Right now, Bob and I are going to take you around behind the scenes, show you how the special effects are done. But before we go, I have to commend you for you guys are some excellent actors and actresses. You folks in the back, those screams sounded great. Very realistic. Look at when the guy there in the middle car was climbing over his family to get away from that tanker truck. Very nice effect. The thing I love the most about the canyon, though, is that it brings people closer together. Usually over to the right-hand side of the shuttle. If you take a look to your left as you round the corner, you'll see our canyon's nothing more than a hollow steel structure to be covered with a wire mesh. Now that mesh is coated with cement. Cement is hand-carved to give it the look and feel of rock formation. The little yellow pipes you see carry the gas for the fires and explosions. The large white pipes carry the water for the flash flood. The flood started when we opened the gates to 3 tanks up at the top of the canyon, sending 70,000 gallons of water rushing at our shuttle. To add a little more excitement, we use air cannons to shoot some of the water down the canyon. These air cannons are powerful enough to shoot a basketball over the top of the Empire State Building. But not from here. We would have to go to New York City to pull that off. Now, the earthquake we felt was caused by hydraulic shaker cables underneath each individual shuttle car. And then we had some low-frequency sound effects, and our catastrophe is complete. The amazing thing about the canyon is that we can reset this show, including filtering and recycling all the water, in just 3.5 minutes.
Wow.
On a busy day, that's just enough time to get in another shuttle load of victims. Visitors. Visitors for the next show. Hi. That is my best side. How you doing back there? You guys survived the canyon okay? You guys doing all right? Beautiful. Take a look over to your right. You're going to see the back of our buildings on New York Street. Notice that steel structure within the building. That steel structure is designed to withstand hurricane-force winds of over 90 miles an hour. And just like the homes on Residential Street, these buildings are all facades. And we've hand-painted and aged them to make them look like they've been standing here for a couple of decades, when really these buildings have only been standing a couple of years. Well, folks, we're going to take you from beautiful sunny Central Florida to beautiful sunny Manhattan. And you don't even have to get out of the shuttle to do it. Just point your camera over here to the right, through the archway. And you're on 42nd Street. Those aren't really buildings down at the end of our street, though. They're painted slats, a lot like billboards, given a three-dimensional look using an old trick called forced perspective. That makes the buildings appear taller and farther away than they really are. Well, folks, I do have some bad news for you. We're at the end of our tour. Sorry. If you look over to your right, you're going to see John. Hi, John. Now, John knows everything there is to know about the studio, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask him. He'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. If you look on the sidewalk, you'll see Roger Rabbit's pink footprints. Follow those footprints around the corner into the loony bin. From there, just follow the signs. You can go wherever you want to go. Make sure you don't walk behind the shuttle, because then you'll be walking in